Hello, we are going to install this native app from scratch so that it can be installed onto subscribers. This is actually a subscriber named Demo171. The publisher on the Snowflake Native app is coming from this other one called 171_Bravo, right? And how are we going to do that? We're actually going to use the documentation. Now, you can do this in your Snowflake account. That's on public preview on AWS right now in October 2023. And if you want to know more about the benefits of the native app framework, just think of it like the app store that you have on your cell phone, where you can install an application that has been vetted for security and essentially from trusted providers so that it makes deploying applications similar to like a software as a service much easier. And so this blog shows you, what it looks like, how you can do it, and how corporations are doing. We're going to use Visual Studio Code similar to this screenshots right here. And then we're going to make an application doing some Streamlet similar to this one. And it will be part of an app package. Now this is on the provider side. And on the, looks like this is the actual Streamlet app that we will also deploy. It's going to be much simpler than this one. And of course, you could distribute and monetize and add metadata similar and sample queries similar to a regular Snowflake marketplace listing. All right. And of course, there's a way to do a free or to monetize one. And of course, there's versioning. And so let's get right into it. Okay, so first I have to, so the prerequisites is a Snowflake account. You could do 2 Snowflake accounts. Actually, you could simulate with just one, but having 2 Snowflake accounts like I will in the same Snowflake region is better. I happen to be on AWS West. We will also be using Visual Studio Code and also SnowSQL, which is the command line interface for Snowflake. So those are the prerequisites. So first, let me drop everything. So you don't have to do this, but in case you ever wonder what it would be like to drop the app, so I'm going to do it. So first, I'm going to do it from the subscriber right here. So I will uninstall the application. Yes, let's uninstall. And so that is gone. Now on the provider side, let's see, what do we have to do? We have to drop the app. So I will come over here and drop the app. Cannot drop because it is associated with a listing. That's fine. So first we have to drop the listing. So we'll go to data. Well, you don't have to do this, Provider Studio listing. So I will drop the listings and then I will provide the app. So listing is a way to publish your app and give it more user-friendly information. Obviously it's live right now. So I will unpublish this listing so it won't be available to selected consumers. Unpublish it. All right, that is gone now. And then I will come back to apps. Let's see if I can actually delete the listing. Data, Provider Studio listings. And let's see if I could just delete it. There we go. There's a trash can right there. So I will delete the listing. Are you sure? Yes. I think that will allow me to now drop the application, which is here. Hello Snowflake app, and I will uninstall it. Yes, okay, great. So now it is gone. Okay, great. So I'm gonna close that subscriber window. We won't see that for a while. And we're gonna go, let me close this blog right here. Okay, good. So now here's the place where we're gonna start if you wanna follow along and occasionally pause the video. What you will learn, more information about the prerequisites. And so we'll go to the next one, create the application files. Okay, so this we will do in a combination. I happen to be on a MacBook, but you could do it, VSCode on Windows as well, or the editor of your choice. I will choose to use VSCode. So I'm just going to go fast. Feel free to read the documentation for more information. So on your local file system, create a folder named tutorial. So I've done this is probably my 3rd time, so I'll be a little faster so that you don't have to suffer through. I'm in VS Code. I'm gonna open up a terminal, generate terminal, new terminal over here, or just do the keyboard shortcut like I just did. Now I happen to be that's my present working directory. I'm going to change directory to a folder named code because that's where I keep all of my code. And I am going to make a directory named tutorial like they told me. And I'm going to change directory to that. So here I am in the tutorial folder, coming back here, create a subfolder named scripts, and then a new file named setup.sql. So I'll make directory called scripts. All right, and from here, now you could stay on the command line, but I choose to just open this folder in VSCode just so it's more easier for the rest of y'all to follow along. I'm in that tutorial folder I just created. All right, great. So here's the scripts folder that I just created. And the next command is to create a new file called setup.sql. And we're gonna put this one comment in there. So setup.sql in the scripts folder. So scripts folder, new file, setup.sql. Okay, I want to move in. I want to move it. Yes. Okay, so great. So now you see setup.sql within the scripts folder. Paste that line and hit save, or the Mac Command S, so that way you don't. It's now saved. Okay, coming back here, create a README file. So create a file named readme.md. Markdown. Okay. In the tutorial folder. So I believe that would be right there. And oops, that's fine. Readme.md, put it there, paste, saved, and now move it out of there. So I'm gonna move it up to this tutorial level. If I could figure out how to do that, I think I moved it down here. Here we go. So now the README is at the tutorial. So it would look like this. Okay. All right. So now both of those files are saved. And we are going to go to create the manifest file. Okay, in the YAML file named manifest.yaml, YML. So let's add the content to this file in the tutorial folder. So there is my manifest.yml. Paste. Okay, so what is this doing? It's saying the setup scripts are in that setup folder and the README that we just referenced. Okay, and we just hit Command S to save. And so we created all of these objects. So quick review of what the files are. And let's move to the next step, create an application package. So now we're going to talk about an application package, a container for the resources, and at application package with Snowflake database to include data content and application files, like some logic, right? So we will open up a Snowflake worksheet and start running these commands. Okay, so let's go here, worksheets. And we will create a new worksheet, SQL worksheet, and let's call it, we can rename it Native App Tutorial. How's that sound? We paste, and I happen to be an account admin row. You could change your row. You know, if you want to, you could also do oops. Go back to where did my worksheet go? Let's start that again. SQL worksheet. There we go. All right, still here. We will go to use row account admin. Okay, and we're gonna create application package on the row to the row account admin. Obviously, if you were in production and you choose to have separation of duties, you would be a little more granular than I am, but for tutorial purposes, that's fine. Okay, to create the application, run the following command, create application package. So let's do that. oops, okay, the application package exists. That's probably only on my system. So I'm gonna drop that application package. I will drop it, okay. Let's refresh, I should see nothing over here. Okay, good. So let me see if I can create it now. All right, perfect. So we don't need this, oops, we don't need this one anymore. Okay, now we will show application packages. Show application packages, there you go. Hello, Snowflake package. Currently it's distributed internally. Okay. We're gonna create a name stage. Okay, a name stage where we store the files required by the Native Apps framework. Use this application package. Just put some, oops, use application package, right? So that's just another way of saying which database context we're using, which happens to be that one. To create the required schema for the name stage, create schema. So we're gonna create a schema called stage content. So if we refresh, if you want to refresh here, you could see that package and see that kind of cool kind of application with an A icon. And we just created an empty stage. As you can see, there's no data or any other objects right here. And we're going to create a name stage. That's where we're going to put our files that we created before in VSCode. Okay. So now we use the name stage to put the files in that we're about to upload. So let's go to the upload stage. We're going to upload the application files. Now there's a way to do it using the GUI, but I like using the command line. I'm using SnowSQL just because I couldn't figure out yet how to put these files within a subfolder. So I'm just going to copy it here, and it's just actually faster and easier to do it. Now I'm going to manipulate. I'm not going to run these put files here, but I'm just going to fix it so that it works within my system. Now, if you happen to have the tutorial folder that we created in your root folder, it should look something like, I believe you would need the tilde right there. And that's like, your current working directory. So mine would be tilde/code, because if you remember, I had a subfolder named code. So I'm going to do that. And across all three of my files. Oops, there we go. Same thing down here. Okay, I'm gonna copy that. And as you can see, this will upload those three files I created, the manifest, the setup, and the readme up to that stage that we just created. Okay, so we will come back to the terminal here. And let's see. Okay, so SnowSQL, kind of outside, I have a connection to go to the account that I'm actually working with. A little outside of scope on setting that up, but just look at the documentation and so I connected to my account, right? Now I will put those files from my VSCode over here up to my account, my Snowflake account. All right, so we come back here to verify what happened. First, I will comment these out. And if we should have it here. Perfect. Run this copy command and let's see if it works. Yep, there you go. So there are the three files that we literally just uploaded using the put command from SnowSQL. Okay, so we upload the files to the name stage, and now we're going to add the application logic and install your first application. Okay, so add application logic and install first application. So we're going to add these to the end of the setup.sql. Okay, so go to the setup. We're just going to do create application row, create the schema. So now this is going to, everything in this setup file will actually run on the subscriber, and actually the publisher, like this account, we're actually going to be both the publisher and the subscriber. Now, your subscribers, and they could be kind of unlimited other Snowflake subscriber accounts, they will only have the subscriber portion. So they will only run whatever's in the setup. Okay, so let's go back to VSCode, go to our setup folder. Let me just close the other ones. Okay, great. And I'm going to paste these 3 objects, right? Create app. So what is this doing on subscriber? It will create an application role called app public, create the schema, and grant usage on that schema. Okay, coming back here. Okay, so now we're going to do a kind of like a hello world, which will say hello Snowflake store procedure. And the benefit of the native app is when we create this code here, the subscribers cannot see your code. They can call the hello function, but they can't see what's inside. So you can maintain your IP intellectual property on it. So let's do that. So essentially, this will run to create that store procedure on the subscriber side, but again, they won't be able to see it. And the code, add the following statement to the end of the setup grant usage. Now we're giving that application app public row the permission to run that. Here we go. Okay. And then now we upload the revive to the name stage. So coming back to here, now you could just choose to upload that specific file, which is setup.sql, this one right here. But since they're all so small, I'll just choose to upload all again. Don't have to, just makes it easier. Okay, install the application. So now we're going to kind of verify that it all works, because we're gonna now act like we're a subscriber still on the same provider account that we have over here. So we will create this application, kind of coming back over here. All right, create an application. So now, as you can see, we are only in the subscriber role. There's only a Hello Snowflake package, but we're going to create the Hello Snowflake app. And so we're going to see it from the subscriber's point of view. Now, if we refresh it, we will now have the Hello Snowflake app over here. And as you can see, there's a core schema and the procedure, and there's that Hello, store procedure. Okay, so we show applications. We should see, again, from the subscriber side, oh, okay, we have this Hello Snowflake app. And then we will run this core.hello store procedure. All right, so it is, Hello Snowflake, it works, okay? Okay, so what do? We set up the store procedure, and we placed it in a setup script, and then we ran it in our quote unquote subscriber row. Okay, now we're going to add data. So this is part of Snowflake's data collaboration, and so we're going to add data. So we're going to go back to the package. So whenever you see the word package, that's kind of like you're the provider. So coming back, switching context again, back to being the application package. So as you can see here, the context went back to being in the provider / package. And then we're going to create a table here. So essentially we're going to deploy this table to all of our subscribers, right? So we're going to create a schema named shared data, create a table with accounts, and insert these values in there. Okay, so now we select star from accounts to verify it. There we go. So it's just some names and values. Okay. And we're going to grant usage on the accounts table to the share so that we can share it. This is part of that governance. Grant select on tables account to the share. Okay, great. Now we're going to add a view to access that data content. Okay. And it's going to be using the versioned schema. So the version schema handles different versions of store procedures and functions. Okay, so let's do that. Create or alter version schema. Okay, only be created inside an application. application. It's good for you to see me troubleshoot. Oh, sorry. Right, we will update the setup script. Don't make the mistake that I just did. Okay. Add the file to the setup script. Okay, so undo this boo-boo. Yeah. And come back to our setup script here. Right, so now this is gonna create a version schema on the setup script called code schema, and we're gonna grant it on our app row. Okay. Hit save. All right. Come back here. To create the view, add the file to the setup script. Okay. So in the setup script, create a view called accounts view, grant select on view to that same app public row that's on the subscriber. Oops, let me hit save. And now we're going to upload the revised script. So make sure this is saved. You could hit, file save files if you need. Okay, so now we will upload this new setup.sql up to back to the Snowflake stage. All right, and we're going to test. So we're going to drop the previous application and then recreate it, and we should be able to see that accounts view. I'm going to do a little shortcut here where I'm just going to copy the SQL all at once and get rid of those comments. So I'm going to drop the application Hello Snowflake app. Okay, so that Hello Snowflake app, as you can see, is no longer there. And we're going to run the new version. So there's the new version. And the new version should have that accounts view. Great. And if we refresh, we'll see that kind of like the new version with the accounts view over there. Okay. So here we go, code schema, and there's that accounts view that was in the new version of the application. Okay. So what have we learned? We created the accounts table, and then we ran it in the setup script. All right, and now we're going to add Python code to our application. Okay, just kind of art of possible what we could do. So obviously we do SQL and JavaScript, Java functions, but we're going to use Python as well right here. So include a Python UDF in your application. Add the following code to your setup file. Okay, come up over here. So it's going to create a function called add1. As you can see, Python, the handler is add1 which is basically going to return i+1. And it's going to grant usage to the app public row. Hit save. Okay, and we're going to now also we're going to demonstrate adding an external Python module. So it's going to reference a file that we're about to create called hello-python.py within the Python subfolder. Okay, and this is where you can deploy your own code, right? Outside of Snowflake, especially if you happen to have other libraries. So we are going to go to the setup script, paste this in. As you see, we now have a multiply function that's going to be handled in a Python subfolder, and we're going to call that hello_python.py. So let's create that Python subfolder over here. We're going to create a folder with that button, call it Python, and create a file named hello-python.py, and we're going to paste our code, this multiply code right here, and we hit save. Alrighty. So we added that Python, and now we're going to test it. So we're going to upload the new and revised file. So we're going to, remember we are using SnowSQL, so we're going to do, I'm just going to copy this bottom one, this Python one, and add it back to, because we already have the script one, so I'm going to come back, over here. Remember my kind of like put commands, I'm going to add the Python one here. and make sure it works in my environment, which is in my code, present directory, and then the code subfolder. There we go. All right, and I will copy this and bring this over to my SnowSQL and paste that. So now it's also going to upload this Python command. All right, so I will hit enter. Great. So now that Python file, also moved up with no problem. Status is uploaded. Okay, great. Come back to the bottom here. So let's verify everything. We're going to drop the application, create it, and then see that we can run the add one and the multiply Python functions. Okay. So I'm going to do this in bulk. So we're going to drop the application first, create the application again using the newer versions. Okay, to test it, we will see the add one. There you go, that works. And then also the multiply. All right, sweet. So those both worked. The testing was successful. So what do? We create the Python function as inline user-defined function, and also one that references external code. Okay, the next we're going to add the Streamlet app to our application. So we're going to do this, back to VSCode and tutorial folder, create a subfolder named Streamlet, and then create a file named hello_snowflake.py. So let's go to Streamlet. We'll go over here, to tutorial folder, create a folder named Streamlet, and create a new file called hello_snowflake.py. I'm going to paste our code in. So what is this code doing? It is going to import the Python packages, Streamlet, SST, the context, which is great because then now this is just going to get active sessions. So when the Snowflake governance boundaries of my account, don't have to worry about the single sign-on and the login. The title, the right, just like the paragraph that we explained, and then it's basically like kind of hello world selecting from this file, and then it's just going to display it. So let's bring that over to our hello snowflake.py Streamlet. So paste, there you go, and save. Okay, so now we have to add the Streamlet. We're going to add the Streamlet object to the setup script. So add the following statement at the end of the setup SQL file. Then we're going to grant usage. Okay, so we're going to basically add both of these. We'll just kind of do it at once. Come back to setup. So that's create that Streamlet, get rid of these comments, and it's going to grant usage on that Streamlet. Okay, so now we're going to upload the new files, and we're going to include this kind of like Streamlet, that Streamlet put as well. Oops, come back here, kind of update our file. Now it's 5 put commands. So I'm going to use ~code. Oops, too much. Here we go, ~code. All right, now I've got, oops, I'm gonna put file. Okay, so come back here. Now I've got 5 put file commands. And it's gonna upload everything, including that hello snowflake.py Streamlet command. Okay, and if you want to see what it looks like, that's what it happens to look like. You see the Streamlet subfolder has that hello snowflake.stage. Okay, so we're gonna remove the previous application. So basically just, it's smoke test. We're just gonna recreate the application because it has the new version. So drop the application again and create an application. Okay. So what did we do? We created a Streamlet app, uploaded it, and then uploaded it to the provider, and we recreated our app. Now we're going to add a version to our application, because as you go into production, you're going to want to make enhancements. So to add a version we're going to alter the application package to this version 1.0, and then we're going to run the show command. So I'm going to copy both of those so we don't go back as far as much. Okay, get rid of all these comments. Okay, so alter application package, so add a version, which is kind of like 1.0, and if we show the versions, there we go. So we got version 1.0 here. So that allows you to have like a production version, and then maybe some in dev and QA and so on and so forth. Okay, so to install the application based on our version, now we're going to drop the previous one and use the one that's versioned. So now drop the application and create the application from the one that's versioned. Alrighty. So what did we do? We added a version to the application, so that's more in line with a regular deployment process. And we're going to view the application in Snowsight. So we're going to go to the apps tab, and we'll have the installed Hello Snowflake app, and then we're going to open the Hello Snowflake Streamlet. So over here, come back home, go to apps, and there's our Hello Snowflake app, and it's installed. So we can click on it. That's the README that we created. Remember the README.md markdown file. So obviously you could embellish this a lot more with the markdown. And then if you, the interface that most customers, the subscribers will have is this Streamlet app. Okay. And as you can see, Hello Snowflake Streamlet Edition. This is from the right command, and then that table exposed. Okay. So now we're going to see to open the application Snowflake worksheet. So now we're just going to test the application using Snowflake commands, again, kind of simulating as a subscriber. So now we can go back to our worksheet from before and just kind of simulate what it is, as a subscriber, right? So there's all the 5 packages. A subscriber can call hello, they can see, and they can run these various functions. All right. Okay, great. So what did we do? We viewed the application in Snowsight, literally like a subscriber. Okay, so now what's next is we're going to publish and install the application, right? So we need to create a listing, which is great because it's kind of like an encapsulation object, and we can add other native, I'm not sure if we can add multiple native apps, but we could add data, native apps, and the whole packaging and metadata, right? So we're gonna show the versions in the package, and then alter the application package to use a release directive. And a release directive specifies which version of your application is available to consumers, okay? So let's do that. Come back to our worksheet. All right, show versions in the application package. There's our version 1.0. And we're going to set the default release directive to that version 1.0, patch 0. Okay. And good. So we have the release directive. Now we're going to create the listing, which is like the packaging for the application. So Snowflake Data Provider Studio, and then create the listing. and then only specified consumers, and then we're going to select, and then we're going to add this subscriber here, which I'll show you how to do that in a second. So come back. So now we're on the provider. We're going to go to data, provider studio, and listings. And we'll create a listing. So plus listing was the title. Call it whatever you want. Now I'll call it Native App Tutorial. Now you could do anyone in our marketplace, but always good to start version 1 with just your specified consumers. You could do paid, or we'll just do free for now. And we will hit next. So what's in the listing? We will select that Hello Snowflake package we've been working on. Briefly describe your listing, whatever we want here. Now we're publishing as this demo 171 Bravo, right? And we're going to add a consumer account. So obviously you could hit that how to add a consumer. You could click that copy account identifier. So let's actually do that. Remember, this is my provider, right? I have this kind of group over here that says provider, and I want to add my subscriber. So my subscriber, when they go to apps, they don't see anything here, but I want them to see my app here. So now what the subscriber will do is come down here, find where they're logged in. Obviously I have access to various accounts. Where that check mark is, right? Do you see that check mark? That's where I'm currently logged in. You could ask your customer, they could be on the phone or email, and say, hey, can you click this copy account identifier button, right? And now they will do that for you. And so now when we come back to the provider side, if you paste what they send you, and that's essentially the organization name, mine happens to be SFSE North America and Demo 171, and perfect. So it's kind of like an email address, right? So now I'm going to publish this listing for this consumer. Obviously I could add, more consumers. Okay, great. So I think I hit the publish button, and there you go. Now the listing is live and available to Demo 171. So if I come back over here, I refresh this, I should see it. Refresh. Here we go. There's this native app tutorial that is now visible from the other Snowflake account. Okay. So now we're going to install the application. So this is all on the subscriber, recently shared, get, and then we're going to open it. Okay. So now we're all done here. So I'm going to kind of close this provider to less confusing to you. Now we're just going to do everything in the subscriber to simulate what your native app subscribers experience is going to look like, right? It's published from there, and obviously they could click here for more info on, what privileges, all of that info. Obviously in a real one, you would put a lot more information, some sample SQL and Python scripts, what it does, some context to help. So here so you kind of want to mount it, right? So we're going to hit get, and what are our options here? So it's going to mount as a database called Native App Tutorial. Obviously we could change the name, but I'm fine with that. Which, compute warehouse will be used. My default one is fine, and I'm going to hit get. Now, what's happening behind the scenes is that setup.sql command that we did, that's actually running. And as you can see, after installation, an email will be sent to, the email address where you are installing this app with. So that's cool. So you could go do other things. Do not refresh or close your browser. Please wait. I'll just hit OK for now. Oh, it looks like it might be open. Let's see. So if I hit open, there you go. So now again, I'm on this subscriber here. It immediately brings me to the README. I could actually hit this listing details in one and see what the listing had, so more information. But now I want to see that Streamlet that the setup.sql just installed, right? So again, on the subscriber side, you just instantly deployed this application, right? So there is, generally it's a lot more Streamlit is a lot more interactive, and you could do large language models and a whole bunch of things outside the scope of this, but that's the Streamlit app. So essentially we just showed end-to-end building this app, right? So we got it all to work, and we are done, right? So obviously we installed the application. Quick recap. So obviously you want to learn more, you could do this, but let's recap what we did. We were on the provider, and we provide this application once, and now we can deploy it an unlimited number of times very easily. That makes the provider's experience a lot better in case you want to do data monetization, or even for internal use cases, you can deploy. We have a lot of customers who are even considering just putting all the applications here, because there's a whole kind of packaging framework that's easy to maintain, it's easy to learn, and easy to govern in one single place. And then when you want to share it with your accounts, it's fellow other accounts, and if you're in like mergers and acquisition, you have multiple accounts, or let's say you're in private equity and you have 100 different portfolio accounts, you can share certain codes with them that will help them be more profitable. Or there's kind of infinite number of use cases that you can see with native apps. And as you can see on the subscriber side, it's that easy to kind of set it up. So it just makes deploying this so much easier. And of course, there's dozens of Snowflake partners that are live with their various native applications right now. So thank you very much for your time. We showed how to install a native application from scratch using the Snowflake documentation that you can see in the description below. Thank you very much.